Howdy and welcome back. So this week we're going to get into a new region of memory called the free store, and we'll begin talking about dynamically allocated objects here in a few days. But before we get into that, we need to understand the location where we're currently allocating objects that are present within our programs, and that is going to be the stack. So today we're going to talk about just how the stack works, and how it's more or less responsible for managing the function calls that are invoked throughout our applications. Thereafter, we're going to explore some of the limitations per se of the stack in order to motivate why dynamically allocated objects are going to become necessary within our applications. Then we'll finally get into this idea of dynamic memory. We'll introduce that before getting into some of the implications next week of what happens when we begin including such objects within our user-defined types. So we'll go ahead and begin today. Today's lesson will be called Functions in the Stack. And what we're going to go ahead and hopefully cover is going to be the anatomy of a program in memory. So when we launch up our program, how is its address space or the memory allocated for it partitioned? We'll then go ahead and introduce the stack and this idea of an activation record or stack frame. And then we'll get into, okay, well, each of our functions is essentially has its code written in memory once. However, when that function is invoked and we go ahead and begin executing that function sequence of instructions, how is the memory kind of allocated for that specific invocation of the function, and how is it separated from, say, other invocations of the function? And we'll get into that with the third point here. How does a function know where to find its activation record? And we'll go ahead and conclude today's lesson with some additional considerations, which more or less have to do with how memory is laid out, and just acknowledging a couple of points that we're going to leave to the end because we don't want any source of confusion. So without ado, let's go ahead and get started with today's lesson.